Hello, students. How you doing? We're going to be talking about how to format writing, specifically an essay, because that will be multi-paragraph. So we're going to go from super easy basic level to some pretty cool advanced things. So you could stop anywhere in the video if that's what your teacher wants you to do. We're going to have a basic section and then a more advanced section. So let's go with basic. First, you'd obviously have to be logged into your school account. Then you're going to want to go to your Google Suite. So you could either do that by clicking on the side and going down to your Google Suite, and then it will traditionally open up to, let's say, like where your Google Classroom is. But this will be the same as if you just open up a new window, because all we're really looking for is to get to this little waffle for the Google Apps. So see, if I open up a new window, it's there as well. Now, we want to make a document, and I know you're probably thinking, I could just click on Docs, and then it will just go ahead and open on up to Docs, and I could make a blank one. Now, of course, that could work, but above all things, your teacher wants you to be organized. So to be organized, you'd have to know where your file's saved. Now, if you did it this way, then you could have like an endless amount of documents just in here, right? And they could just be anywhere with no folders or anything. So what I always suggest to do is go to your drive, because inside your drive, well, it'll be the same thing, just tons of files, but you can make folders. So what I would suggest is having a folder for each subject, like let's say social studies, Star Wars, all that good important stuff right there. So maybe you have a folder, or maybe you don't at this point. So you just go new and folder. Then you could make that folder whatever you want. Maybe it's language arts, maybe it's writing. So I'll make a writing folder and I'll keep all my writing in there. Now, if you notice, I already did have a writing folder because I've tried this before. But let's go inside that folder by double clicking. I could even put a folder inside a folder if I want. Like maybe I want a new folder in here that will just be trimester one. And then I could have all my trimester one writing in there, or something else. And then you could click in that folder and you'll be in there. So once you figure out how you want to organize, then this is where I suggest just going new and document. Now, once I do that, it's going to automatically save right there inside my folder. It'll be in this folder. So watch, when I refresh right here, then we're going to have our folder or our document in here once we start. So if you notice, it's always untitled. So I always suggest putting a title first, because that'll help you with your organization and not get lost, because you're going to have your same account all through high school, and you could have hundreds and hundreds of documents in there, all called untitled document, and that's not good, right? So let's just say I'm writing, I don't know, a bear essay. So I'm writing about bears or something, okay? So then we're going to be able to write in here. You see it automatically saved right there, and that's always good. You always want to glance at that, especially before you're done, to make sure it's saved. Then inside, look, when I click back, it's already there, right? It already saved and is there. So now that's going to be inside my Google Drive, inside my writing folder, inside T1, right where I wanted it saved, and it's organized. I never lose it. So I always suggest doing that. But if you don't do that, or if you forget to do that, you can always move. So see right here, you could always move it to somewhere else, and I could figure out where I want to put it. I could put it in a different folder and move it around to figure out exactly where I want to put it. So now I'll put it in the writing folder. Oops. I'll put it in the writing folder here, and I'll move it here. Then we'll see that, oh, it's not there anymore. I put it in my writing folder, so I could do what I want. You could always drag around your files as well and put them where you want, and they'll be good to go. So now I'm ready to start my file. Now, let's pretend I already had something already started typing and writing up. So I have my paragraph right here. Let's look at a couple things. Now, obviously, if you printed this out, it'd be hard to edit or go through things, and it's a little hard to read. And there's certain formatting you'll get to later in high school and in college when you get that cool job. So one of the things you do is you want to have your things double spaced. So to have things double spaced, we go up to Format, up here. So format is how things look. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And we're going to go to line spacing. We're going to pick double. So it's double spaced. That means kind of like there's a line in between each line. So now it spreads it out. It looks very nice. The regular font size that most people like teachers, is 12. So you could keep clicking up till you get there, or you could just highlight it and type in that 12. It's a little bigger. Look at how nice and easy that is to read as compared to before. Now, I know it's fun to start picking those different fonts and things, but then it makes it harder to read. So if we had this selected and I picked a different font, it might look cool, but then it starts getting harder to read, right? So we're not going to want to change the font when you're writing an essay. Now, if I'm going too fast, if you get lost, remember you could always rewind that video to whatever part you need or watch this a different day. Okay, now you always like to have titles also, right? So let's say I make a title, something really boring like bear essay. I'll work on that later. But we usually have titles in the center. So again, we're going to format. And if you notice, a lot of these format things will be on the toolbar here. It's fine to use it whatever way you want. See, center align is right here. We also could have found it in format, align, center. So in Google, there's always kind of two ways to do things, whether you're using the toolbar or the words up here. Now, there's your title. We have that all nice and centered. You could always ask your teacher if they mind if you make that bigger or not. Maybe make it a little bit bigger, like 14, so we make it in the center. Sometimes they'll like you to do special things like bold or maybe underline your title to make it a little bit bigger. And you can see things are underlined here. So those options are always there. And if you just, let's say I'm down here, if you just click something like underline, it's going to start working when you do that. But if you already have a word that's written, you have to highlight it and then push it and it'll work. So that'll work with bold, your underline, italics, or when it's kind of sideways. So your teacher will teach you that, how to use those for titles. So titles you like to underline sometimes, italics sometimes, and we'll check it out. Okay, so now we put this in the center, but what if we accidentally centered the whole thing and you're like, oh no, my whole essay is centered, right? Well, you can highlight the rest of it and then see left align. So you want your title in the middle, but you want your whole other essay to the left. Now, we can't forget about indenting, right? Always indent. You do not push the space bar 5 times or whatever else, that kind of thing. No. You hit the tab button, which is next to the letter Q right there, left-hand side, just hitting tab, and it tabs in. Now, sometimes if you're doing something like inside a box, like on the state test where you have to type your essay in a box, sometimes tab's not going to work. So you do have to push that space bar. And the official amount of times is 5 spaces for indenting. And now we have it indented there. When we get to a new paragraph, now, if you notice, it indented automatically for me, right? And then I could put my new paragraph in there. But it messed it up, right? Because I was copying and pasting in there. But it would have been good and ready to go if I already had it in there and you see it indented for me. So I don't want to do all the formatting on that one, so I'll get rid of that for the time being. Now, I know once you got this, you're ready to go. That's all the basic level things that you're needed. So we could think about pausing this video, maybe starting it again later. But we'll keep the video going in case you got an extra amount of time, or it's just one nice place to keep this video. So now we're going to go on to those advanced level skills. So here we go. One of the nice things is word count, because sometimes like in middle school, your teachers will say, I want you to write a 250 word essay. And you're like, do I just count all the words, right? It's kind of hard. So we go up to tools up top and look, word count. I simply click it. Now I already have 164 words written. It tells me I have 1 page so far. Now, you could even do that just for a certain part. So maybe you just want to say, how much is this paragraph, right? So you could just select a certain part, do the same thing, word count, and it'll tell you Oh, that's 105 words. Your total is 164. So you could even compare your paragraphs and see how big each of your paragraphs are. So now we can see how many words we have in our essay, which is always cool. Now let's check out a dictionary. So we're going to go ahead and go in once again, tools, because the dictionary is a tool, right? So all these formatting things, tools, they should start making sense. So formatting is changing how it looks. Tools are things you could use. So I could click dictionary. It'll just open up on the side right there. And I could go ahead and look up a word. If you noticed, it automatically popped up something right there, because what if I already had a word inside and I'm like, did I use that word correctly? Well, I could go to tools, then I could go down to my dictionary and it'll automatically look up that word for me, tell me the definition, and cool, it's good to go, right? But I could also look up whatever words I want in here. So maybe I'm not sure what a habitat is, but I know I need to have it in my essay. And I could search here without having to open up a new tab up top. If that bothers me or is taking up my space, I can close it again, get it out of the way. So now we have that dictionary whenever we need it. Now, we should always check out our spelling and grammar. Now, I just copied and pasted that, so nothing was wrong with that. But to learn about bear, maybe I'm not sure how to spell right. So, if it's underlined red, then that means it's spelled wrong. You simply right click on it and it said, did you mean learn? Oh, I did mean learn. Then oh, sometimes you could write the wrong word and it's not spelled wrong, right? So you always got to be careful. And that comes with editing. Now, if I say I like to learn about bears, that's probably not good, huh? Now, that's not good grammar or not proper grammar. So that's why it's underlined blue. So red is spelling, blue is grammar. So it's going to say, consider changing to learn. I like to learn about bears. That's good. Now, it's not always going to know the right answer. It'll give you suggestions, but it's at least telling you something doesn't look or sound right here. So now we have spelling and grammar done. Now we're going to talk about a header and a footer. A header is by the head, a foot is by the foot, right? The head and foot. Now you might be wondering, when would I ever use a header or a footer, right? So that might be something we're not sure about. Well, think about books you've read. Now, if we look at a book right here, now do you see, you probably recognize this in your own novels and books you read, right? And well, what is that? Let's zoom up. That's probably the name of the chapter, right? So every chapter, it has it up there. Or maybe it's the title of the book, right? Like if you're reading Series of Unfortunate Events, it'll have a wide window on every page, maybe because you're reading a certain book and it's telling you the name of the book or the chapter. So sometimes you want that. Other times, maybe you want something on the bottom, right? Like on the bottom, maybe you want a page number. Page numbers are in the footer on the bottom, or those little special notes that, they're giving little special ideas. Like if we look up something here, now we're going to look up just, let's say, dogs on Wikipedia, right? They always have all those little footnotes, right? Like the footnotes are those things way down on the bottom, right? And that's hidden down on the bottom of the document. So I'm going to insert a header. That's something on top. So this will be on every page. Now I'm just writing that on there. And if you notice it, see, I can't even click on it anymore because it's keeping it safe up there. I'd have to double click on it to get in there again. And if I go to the second page, do you see it automatically shows up on every page? Now your teacher will tell you if they want you to use headers, but at least you know how to do it. Now let's check out, now we're going to insert a footer. So on the bottom, this is also on every page. So sometimes people will put stuff on there like copyright information, right? All that cool kind of stuff. And you see it's on every page right there. Now, of course, I can get rid of it and it'll get rid of it on every page. And I can get rid of this and it will get rid of it on every page as well. Now, I also said page numbers. So page numbers are always cool, right? So I could insert page numbers, you could see where you might like them. Maybe your teacher tells you somewhere, like put them in the bottom right corner. Now is going to put your page numbers right down there. Now we could look at those options for page numbers. Maybe we want to start on page number 1, show on the first page. Maybe we don't want it to, right? But all those page numbers will be automatically on the bottom of the page. So it'll look cool and you can see all those pages. Now, let's get two or three more advanced things and then we're all done here. One amazing thing is comments. Hopefully you already know about comments. And if you don't, I'll go ahead and show you. It's great. I like bears. So I'll go ahead and put that on there, right? Let's say I'm have someone else editing my essay, like my mom, my friend, someone else, your teacher's checking it out, right? And then maybe there's something in there they're like, I don't like that too much, right? Do you see when I highlighted it, this automatically popped up? Add a comment. And we could add a comment right here and say, I don't think you should add your own opinion in this. Let's say we're writing a report about bears. We probably don't want our own opinion in there, right? So I'll leave a comment on there and see it highlights it for me that there's a comment right here. And then maybe someone wrote you that comment, and when you're done with it, you could just check it off, boop, and the comment will just go away. So someone, like if you're editing with your friend, you could be writing comments on theirs and say, let's say we're doing right here, you could say, use a better word here. And then you're not telling them what answer, you're not telling them what to do, but you're giving them comments or suggestions to help, and they could either just delete it or they could get it out of the way once they're done and all those comments will go away. So those are cool. Now, another cool one, did you know you could search right from your document right here? So let's say I'm like, ran out of information about bears. What am I going to do, right? I don't need to open up a new window. But look, remember our formatting things, our tools. So I want to use a tool because I want to use something. So I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore the internet over here. So let's say I'm saying I don't know anything about bear habitats, right? So I'm going to just type in bear habitat, and now I could click on something and it'll open up in a new window if I want. Maybe I can read all that and see, and maybe I found some great information to add on here. So let's say, now let's see, I learned something. Streams and pools are needed. So then let's say I add that in my essay, and I'll add something important in here. Streams and pools are important for bears. Now, my teacher might be like, are you sure? How do you know that information? Did you ask someone? You'll say, oh, no, I found it online right here, right? I found it on this website. And look, this is the coolest thing ever. Look right here. Cite is a footnote. Watch. Boop. Right there is going to say number 1, all cool like you've seen in books before. And look, it'll show right here. Bear habitat from bearsmart.com. It gives the website. It even says when it happened, November 13th, 2020. How cool is that, right? It automatically cited. It gave you a citation where you found it from. So now your teacher knows I didn't just copy it from online. I changed my words. I found it, and it's all cool, right? So you got a long video. You could always rewind whenever you need to, but now you are ready for your essays and reports to do everything in your Google Documents. See you later. Have a good day.